Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel, welcome back to the Peninsula War between the French and the British. Today we are going to fight a hard custom scenario where the French have to conquer position while Maréchal Suchet tried to engage the British led by General Graham. They forced their way towards the British line, but they are in strong defensive position, so an hard nut to crack. I want to try the new adaptation to the rules, and I want a large battle in the old peninsula. So here we are today towards the village of Megin and the large Cerro Pelado, and this wood here. This wood, the very hilltop and the village are the objective for this battle. The village grant 5 victory points at the end of the game if it is conquered or controlled by one of the parties. To control the village, the majority of the houses must be in the end of one army and not be contested by any enemy within 3 inches of them. The Cerro Pelado, this large hill, only the very hilltop must be controlled. No enemy unit into the very hilltop. Means that one side or the other control it, and the same is for this large wood here. Who control it is grant 2 victory point, 3 for the hilltop. To this will be also added any defeat suffered by both the army, and now we are proceeding to have a look at the army. For the French, they are led by Maréchal Suchet, with his trait as a stubborn and strategist. The second in command is General Millard. He is charismatic, and the officer of this battery has the trait of artillerist. So start with this brigade, where the main effort is to conquer the village. We have General Ficatier with 1 unit of line infantry, another unit of Leger, 1 unit of infantry line with upgrade of melee and tenacity, are the veteran, 2 units of Polish infantry from the Vistula. They have tenacity upgrade, 2 different detachment of infantry, 1 unit of artillery. And the back, the main reserves are 3 units of grenadier led by their officer. Here the battery with 3 heavy gun. Then in the center, another infantry brigade led by General Arapiz, 3 units of line infantry within the center with the Bearskin, the veteran. In front of them a detachment of voltigeurs. On the hilltop the light battalion, a Leger, and the officer here. Back of them 2 units of dragoon, elite tenacity, with 2 detachments of dragoon on foot. They are my mobile force, and they will push in the center towards the hill or support the attack at the village, the main objective. And this is the artillery for the infantry brigade. General Boselton with another brigade made of 4 battalions, 1 of Leger, 3 of line infantry, 1 is veteran, elite and tenacity, and is with the banner guard with the halberd with the red flag. In front of them combined detachment of voltigeurs and a detachment of voltigeurs. And on the hilltop a brigade of light cavalry, 1 unit of hussars in front is General Bussard. In front 1 unit of hussars, 5th hussars, in open order, supported by 2 units of chasseurs and cheval, 1 unit of horse cavalry, and 2 unit of detachment of infantry, 2 unit of dragoon on foot. In my last video I forgot one important rule for the horse artillery, which has slightly changed its rule, and now it can move, unlimber, and then in the next turn shoot, limber, move, and unlimber. So very mobile unit. I want to see if it is very effective as well. So that's it for the French. The main plan is to push forward on the 3 objective with the main effort to take the village down there, Megine, but also the hill, and eventually envelop the village and hold the enemy at bay, contesting the 2 objective in order to grab the point. This is the plan. We'll see the British and their hee-hee if they will consider this or beat me badly. Now moving into the British line to see what they have. So let's start in the village of Megine, where the bulk of the defenders are deployed, and we have General Graham, which is skillful, pressured, and charismatic, and lead the defense against Maréchal Suchet. His second in command is down there in the middle, Major Higgins. Back in a sec. He is skillful. So the main defenders in the village are 2 different brigades. One is the light brigade, led by General Graham, is all composed but understrained infantry. 1 unit of understrained infantry, the 95th Rifle, the 2nd Light Infantry, and the Cazador, Portuguese Cazador in support. And their precede the larger brigade of the army, led by General Wallace. Wallace is the Scottish brigade, 91st Light Battalion in front of the Cornwall Battalion, in the back the Gordon Highlanders. There and their counterpart Black Watch both have elite and tenacity upgrade. On the left the 1st Scots, and to support the main British we have a local Spanish that help them as ally. 1 line infantry, 2nd line infantry, 1 unit understrain of militia, and another detachment of militia. They are guerrilla, and they are both guerrilla, and they help the British to protect their village and their home. In the center, towards the Cerro Pelado, we have the General Stopford, close to Major Higgins, and we have the 40 Line Battalion, the 69, the Black Watch, and the 51st Light Battalion, supported by a detachment of 60 Rifle. Back of them, 2 units of guards led by Brigadier Campbell, the 1st Scot, and the 1st Scot, the 1st Guard Battalion. They are in the center, but they can easily move wherever they are needed. It will depend where the main attack arrive and where the AA dictate for them. A single cannon to support this brigade here. On the trade, the reserves that will arrive according to the EA card in Megine are 3 Battalion 1 of Hussars and 2 of Light Dragoon, plus 1 battery of horse artillery, and their general the brigadier is General Anson, and he is dashing. And finally, on the left, a small brigade, but British are slightly understrained compared to the French, but they are in defense, so they are in their best spot. The King German Legion Brigade and 2 units, the 1st and the 3rd King German Legion, deploy in line. 1 gun, and into the wood, the 2nd King German Legion occupying the terrain. And that's it. The reserves will arrive from the 4th turn, so we'll see what is happening. And now moving into the French first turn. Oh yes, the British EA select left flank defense because the main objective is the village. But if something changed, the equal defense came into account during the game. Slightly modification for EA compared to my old table is that engage is now more aggressive, more melee oriented, so we have two results that can bring units into the melee. And finally, until the British take no casualty or less casualty until the first battalion is broken, they consider it in advantage, so +1 to the rule. When the casualties start to mount, they turn to neutral or even weak, depending on the sector and depending on the goes of the battle. So we are beginning 4 hours for this game and moving into the French first turn. The French turn start with an all-out assault. Will be Andy later on, and now proceeding into the fire. Just the battery had to fire, so for the first turn a quick recap at the end of the turn. And so, back in a sec. The first turn is over, the French advance quite almost everywhere. In the center, General RPs failed to receive the order and failed to activate its brigade, and this is not good, so Suchet immediately moved the dragoon on the left to move forward and eventually help the attack on the village, which is just on course, because General Ficatier has moved as much as possible at the double, remaining 18 inches away from the enemy, but decided to open order his Leger in front to prevent any fire. The fire from the hill tried to silence the enemy battery, but despite the high volume of fire, they only shaken the gun. It's not bad, but it's not the best. Probably a test will be a better result, despite the reroll of 1 they only achieved 2 hit, and that's it for the French. Moving into the British turn 1. First of all, the card, and it's a 9 surprise attack. Could become handy later on. And now the strategy. They have +1, so on the left 3 is a probe, and the center is a probe, and on the right is a probe. So the new table, probe for defenders, mean unit prefer shooting again melee, always shoot again melee and engage only if enemy is shaken, and prepare eventually counter-strike with elite unit or cavalry. So British remain stationary, shoot where they can shoot, and eventually move to protect the objective. That's it. So back at the end of the turn. The first British turn is over. The fire, the few shots were well aimed. This artillery put 1 casualty into the 5th Hussars here. From the wood, the second King German Legion put 1 casualty into the Voltigeur in front. They hit 3 times quite. They almost shaken them. This gun here failed to hit anything. The rest here advanced on the top of the hill, taking position to defend it, and here successfully activate everything. The Light Brigade occupy all the houses of the village. The Spanish guerrilla take the woods, while the column of regular are ready to intervene in necessity, and the gun failed to rally. The 95th Rifle proved their reputation, put 2 casualty into the advancing Polish with their skirmisher. They move forward towards the woods, and that's it for the British. Moving into the French second turn. The second turn for the French is a Queen attack of outrance. It came in handy later this card too. Now moving into the shooting, and a quick recap at the end of it. Fire phase for the French start badly with this artillery miss the Voltigeur detachment and under-strain unit combined their skirmisher fire into the wood, but also failed to hit anything. Here, the artillery put 3 casualty into the battery, which failed its Valor test and routed. Then this Voltigeur here put 1 casualty into the Cazador, and 1 casualty from this skirmisher is put into the 95th rifle. But the best news for the French is that Wallace roll a 1 and fail its Fortitude test on a 2+. So the first defeat was inflicted to the British by the French in their second turn of fire, and now moving into the activation. This time was the cavalry of General Montgomery, which failed to receive its order and move forward. But the rest of the army aggressively push into the British. The Polish force the British to take a decision quickly, and they are ready to strike the village and the first houses of it. So the AA will roll well to react to this French menace. The Central Brigade has moved forward and taken position as best as they can to cover the delay. The Busalton Brigade also prepares themselves to attack the woods and protect the flank from any British counter-strike with artillery, Voltigeur and 1 line battalion, and the cavalry put themselves in range of charge, and the Hussars reform the rank, ready to attack. Now the British have to decide. That's it for the French second turn, moving into the British one. British second turn start with a 4, and now we'll see what the AA will dictate. At the moment, due to the situation, I see that the British still have the advantage on the left and nothing in the center, and disadvantage on the right. So on the left, 2 plus 1 meaning a probe using shooting over melee, so the British will stay put and shoot at their best. In the center, 5 means a probe, the same result. On the left, with -1 is a relieve, and relieve in defense mean only take fire activation. If outnumbered, they take defensive position. So probably this unit here, and even this, if are in range, will assume the square position. So we'll see at the end of the fire phase. The British fire, as usual, was withering. The 2 skirmisher here shoot twice and put 2 hit into the dragoon on foot, but they are open orders to take 1 single casualty. They receive the fire from the canister of the artillery and they are shaken. The second King German Legion shoot from the woods and put 3 casualty in the veteran column of assault down there. This artillery here put 1 casualty into the Voltigeur. The skirmisher here failed to hit, as the rifle in the center. But on this side, it was much effective. The skirmisher militia here failed to do anything. But the Cazador put 1 casualty, supported with the skirmisher. No, the Cazador put 1 casualty into the Leger. The skirmisher here and here put 2 casualty and shaken the artillery. 1 casualty is put by the guerrilla detachment into their Voltigeur counterpart, and a fire from the 95th and the 43 into the Polish put 4 casualties, so they are quite shaken. Thankfully they are elite in tenacity, so 1 casualty from being shaken. And that's it for the fire. Now moving into the activation according to the EA. The turn is over quick and easy. No one move along the Spanish-British line. Only the 2 King German Legion battalion take the square successfully thanks to the free activation of low close to Higgins. So that's it for the British turn, and now moving into the French turn. to the French third turn start with the deadly, and now proceeding with the fire and the activations. French shooting is far less effective than the British one. The combined firepower with the two detachment of infantry put a single casualty, put nothing. They tried to shoot at the artillery. The horse artillery put one casualty into the square, one casualty into the second King German Legion by the canister round of the artillery, while 4 shots from the voltigeur here failed to hit anything on this battery. The skirmisher of 1, 2 and 3 units, the voltigeur, the leger and the line, put one casualty into the 69, one casualty into the 51st and one casualty into the 60 rifle. Then the artillery on the hilltop shoot at the Cornwall regiment, but hit once, one casualty here, and that's it. They combined the skirmisher fire into the 95th, failed to do anything. The artillery put one casualty into the militia here, into the houses. Score a 5 and a 6, but the heavy cover grant them enough protection, and essentially that's it for the fire, and nothing special, nothing spectacular. Now moving into the activation. The French assault to the village was bloody. The Polish take one casualty and broke the 95th, which ran away. The poor militiamen were slaughtered, and the building was occupied by the veterans. And here they shaken the cazador and take no wounds in return. No, take 2 wounds in return. Then Bernard failed one of his 2 fortitude tests, so the other unit of the light brigade take casualties, and they are gone. Now proceed to remove the casualty because they are engaged with the enemy and are shaken. And the cavalry move forward while the grenadier failed to activate. It seems that one brigade a turn must disappoint the disappointing Maréchal Suchet, and here the center move forward toward the hill and take their attack formation. On this side, the woods is in the French hand. The column of assault has destroyed the second King German Legion, but take 4 casualties and being shaken in return. Anyway, Low fail another fortitude test, so the brigade is also take a defeat. And that's it for the French. They move forward in range to be credible to charge, but can deliver fire in the next French turn. And now we're into the third turn for the British and see if they can repel the enemy. The scum of the earth, which is good for sustain an assault, probably necessary the previous turn. Anyway, so we'll see what the EA dictate. Let me grab a die. Okay, now on the left they are no more in advantage, but at least they are in disadvantage at the moment. No, we're equal. They are equal. So 2 for equal means probe, fire, and counter strike, counter attack only with specify unit. Only shaken unit can be engaged. In the center, react, so shooting, essentially shooting, and on the right there, disadvantage, relieve, so unit only take fire. If outnumbered, they will take defensive position. If possible, shaken unit we try to retreat and take another. No unit that can rotate, they will try to rally and stay where they are and try to hold as long as possible. They have to probably bog down the French here to protect an envelopment in the center. So now moving into the fire phase, and back with a quick recap at the end of it. It's a very effective British fire. The AA probably take the right decision. This line here put two casualty into the Polish. They, with the skirmisher, because they want to retreat, put one casualty here into the woods. 3 casualty was put into the veteran from the 91st Light Battalion. They roll 4 dice and hit 3 times on a 6. The horrible dice for the terrific dice for the British and horrible for the French. They shoot 1 shot and put 1 casualty here, and another 6 were rolled by this line into the troop that occupy these houses here. From the woods, the militia put 1 casualty into the column, the rifle 1 casualty into the voltige counterpart, the 51st 1 casualty into the French counterpart, the artillery shaken the French artillery. Here the artillery put 1 casualty here, but they passed their fortitude test. And that's it for the fire. Now moving into the activation phase. Activation phase over. Next time the British reserve will arrive. The square here moves slightly backwards. The center remains stationary. The guard move 1 battalion to support the hill, 1 battalion to support the village and the waiting of the cavalry. The rest remain essentially where they are. Most of them are shooting the Spanish, ready to support eventually an attack on the woods, and they slightly fall back to avoid a direct charge from more than 1 brigade. And that's 1 battalion. That's it. Now moving into the French turn 4. French turn 4. Oh, I use both the card All Out Assault and Attack at Outrance in the previous turn. Now the card is a 9 Surprise Attack. Ooh, this is interesting now. This is interesting in that moment. So we'll see. Moving into the fire and a quick recap at the end of it. Quite effective fire this turn. Finally the French find their spot. The combined fire from this dragoon and the 2 carabine chasseurs en cheval, and all in all put 1 casualty into the square here and 1 casualty into the square here. The horse artillery shaken their counterpart. Here this unrestrained light battalion made of voltige put 2 casualty here and shaken the artillery. The line, the skirmisher with line, Leger and other line put 1 casualty into the 51st, nothing from the voltiger into the 6th rifle. Here 3 casualties put here, so they are shaken now, and essentially that's it for the fire. Okay, they pass the test, that's it. And now proceeding into the activation. The artillery on the hilltop take the target of the 40 line battalion and putting 3 casualty where they are exposed on the crest of the hill. So 3 casualty. The French mounted their assault to the Cerro Pelado, sending all around the casualty to mitigate the return strike and eventual counter-attack, but especially prepare an easy assault for the infantry. Easy if the British will collaborate with this. So, moving into the activation now. And the French turn is over. A very strange turn, a very strange roll of the die. They charge in, force them to take 3 Valor test, and they pass all the Valor test. The rest of the army move, try to rally, fail everywhere to rally. The Grenadier assault the woods because the Central Brigade failed to activate 1 turn, and this is very disappointing. Anyway, the Grenadier routed the militia into the wood, taking in any case 2 casualty in return on 3 attacks, but Wallace failed another fortitude test on a 2+, so he take a wound, take a defeat, and now proceed to distribute the extra casualty for having an enemy within 6 inches. In the center nothing happens because they stay where they are. Bolsalton Brigade try to envelope the Cerro Pelado and move forward but cannot charge anything. They successfully rally twice and here slightly move forward, and that's it for the French turn. Now moving into the British turn. Well, the British drew a 2, so they reshuffled the deck, but not as used at the moment yet. Nothing really important to do at the moment. This is the turn of the reserve. So we see on the left flank at the moment they still equal, and 5 means engage. So a counter strike from the British prefer melee over fire, engage if the enemy has 2 casualty, and this is the case, and eventually shoot at his best and prepare for counter strike next turn. So perfect for that side. In the center they are equal at the moment, and that means react, so shooting and prepare for the enemy. On the left they are in disadvantage. Oh, sorry. 5 minus 1 is a 4, a react. React means they fire and counterattack only with dedicated unit, not at the moment, and that's it. Now proceeding with the fire, and then back with a quick recap at the end of this phase. The artillery here shaking their counterpart. The fire of the British today is really weird, and not only disciplined musketry, but they are laser rifle, not the muskets. This line shoot into the counterpart and put 2 casualty. The 51st another casualty into the Leger in front. Here the light, but the 91st supported by 1 shot of this line, put 2 casualty into the woods, and the grenadier are shaken. The Highlanders plus the riflemen put 3 casualty into this veteran, which passed both their test thanks to Suchet. Honestly, they pass in any case, but wow, 3 6s on 5 dice, 4 dice. It's quite embarrassing. And that's it for the fire. Now proceeding into the activation and the arrival of the reserves. And that's it. The British move away from the melee, remaining 3 inches away from the Polish. This line is ready to launch a counter-strike against this unit, which has just taken 3 casualty. The cavalry has arrived. They form the column of attack because they can against an enemy that is in cover. So the next turn, and same do the Spanish. We take a assault column to attack the grenadier into the woods. The center remains stationary. Guards has put themselves on the middle of the road between the village and the hill, and that's it for the British. Now moving into the French turn. The French turn start with a 10, which is quite useless at the moment, but could be used to activate on initiative and surprise attack. Maybe will come in and end this turn. We'll see. Now proceeding into the fire, and then a quick recap at the end of this phase. So the fire here, 1 casualty here, 1 casualty here. It take 1 tested, but it pass. The rifle into the wood, take down the artillery, and Stopford fail its fortitude test. So they are within 6, 1 casualty are shaken. They were the 6 and 1 casualty. Here the grenadier into the wood do not shoot because they want to rally. 1 casualty, I forgot to put 1 casualty here and 1 to the rifle due to the defeat of the previous turn. Now shooting, put 1 casualty into this one from the voltige, and the fire from the woods did nothing, and they put one casualty here, but they passed their test. And that's it for the shooting. Ooh, the artillery, the battery on the hill put one casualty into the freshly arrived light dragoon. And now moving into the activation. No one seems to really want to fight today, because the dice are surprising, are terrible in a way or in another. Let me explain here. The grenadier charged and routed the light battalion inside and taking the houses, and Bernard failed its fortitude test. So the last light brigade battalion here is within 6, so also gone, and that means the brigade is shattered, so 3 defeat to Graham. The first Scots is in line and were defeated by Polish. It passed its Valor on a 4+, he rolled a 1 and is gone. But this time Wallace pass his morale, so it's fortitude. Here the line of the Basalton Brigade charged the light battalion and crush him. The column with surprise attack charged in front of this line, and the other column here charged on the flank, but the French were repelled. I decided to attack with a veteran that had just casualty, hoping to score more hit than the British, but it's not the case. So Basalton is called to take a brigade, a fortitude test. He passed on a 2 and he rolled also 1 like Wallace. So the French take 1 casualty here and take 1 extra one here and 1 extra wound here, because and 1 extra wound here. While the Stopford pass both its fortitude, 1 for this unit here and 1 for the light rifle, 6 rifle with which was charged by the column using surprise attack. On this side the cavalry failed to activate, because 1 brigade a turn must fail its activation. And consequently to the defeat, and using their rule, the artillery failed its check and routed. The voltigeurs in the wood pass and stay where they are. And that's it for the French 4th turn. Start of British turn. It's a 6, it's a deadly. And now that they have to counter-attack, probably it came in a handy. Let me grab a die to roll for the EA. So now on the left they are equal, and they roll a 3. 3 is a probe, so they will charge only with counter-strike, cavalry or fresh elite unit. So this is the case, so we'll see if they manage to repel some French from the village. On the hill they are equal, but with a 6 is a probe, same result. And on the left 3 means relieve, so stay where they are. The same tactics here, and that's it. And moving now into the fire. Exchange of fire between the 2 batteries. Put this horse battery to roll 3 Valor test and pass it, and the center, the line, shoot into the column, shaking the unit. The rest retain the fire because they want to activate and countercharge with the Highlanders. Few shot even here, but the artillery forced 1 roll here. It was a Valor test on a 2 because it's a fire and the stubborn thanks to Suchet, but they roll 1 and fail, so they are gone. But the brigade passed their fortitude test, so no defeat, no extra casualty. And that's it for the fire. Now into the British activation. The fight for the village is brutal and absolutely bloody. The houses pass hand in hand, turn after turn. The Gordon Highlanders charge and rout the Grenadier, taking possess of this house here, and that one that is free was occupied by the 32 Cornwall. the cavalry has successfully charged and routed both the first unit of Polish, and then with their headstrong rule charge the unit down behind them and roll a single 5 and rout them too. But General Ficatier passed both his fortitude test, and now they can take a cavalry retreat. No, they cannot take cavalry. I have to double check it in a sec. The Spanish charged the grenadier inside the house, 1 hit per part, but they are in cover, so they win. The melee, no one have to test here. In the center, the grenadier charge the light battalion. The Leger is routed, they take a 3 casualty in return, and again Boselton had to pass its fortitude on a 2+, and it failed with a 1, and so this put an end to the French turn, and now we are running the last half hour of the game, probably, if not the last turn, the second last turn. So we'll see. We'll see in a sec. Now proceeding to the French turn. Before moving into the French turn, the British use its guard to move up their melee, the guard to take a defensive position up to the hill, and now this is really hard nut to crack for the French that are in delay, and they pay for the delay, but the Central Brigade failed to activate twice, so it's a shame, it's a real shame at the moment. Now proceeding to the French turn. The French turn start with the Les Grognards. I have one unit that I promote to elite melee and tenacity for the rest of the game, and I decided someone into the village that have just a casualty, and they desperately need to fight back the British. Now proceeding to the fire. The fire here, I forgot to put the smoke. Anyway, this unit of foot dragoons shoot one here, 1 casualty, 2 into the square, shaking it. The horse artillery completely miss. On this side, I also forgot to put smoke. They shoot and shaking completely the Highlanders. 2 casualty onto the guard from the artillery on the hill, the battery. The skirmisher here put 1 casualty into the 40 line battalion and shared it. On this side, the artillery on the hill put 1 casualty into the troop into the houses. Leger and Voltigeur put 2 casualty here, forcing to test, but they both pass. So this put the French in a hard decision, because charging the cavalry or completely ignore it and charge the houses. I was saying now proceeding into the activation phase. Wow, the last French turn of the game was epic. Start with the village, which is the main objective, and start with what has happened here. The Leger charge, supported by the cavalry, the unit inside here, it passes its morale, but they are shaken. The Grenadier routed the Highlanders and take the house here. The light battalion is destroyed by the dragoons charge, and the Grenadier and the unit into the house there became shaken for the returning hit, because the Spanish make them pay for every death, but they take 6 hit and routed. So 3 fortitude tests on a 3 with the new rules. New rules means that all the unit in the brigade must be shaken to get a -1. They have +1 on a 3. He passed 2 on a 3, so Wallace fail is a third fortitude test, and this unit here is also gone, and the house is in the hand of the Leger. And that's it for the village. I have to remove this in a second. So that's the situation. The Polish barely hit the cavalry the time enough to win the melee and force them to roll 3 tests, also taking 3 casualty, but they are the charging units, so they win the melee and the cavalry routed. So a fortitude test for the cavalry, which is a failure. I forgot to roll before, so a defeat for the cavalry, but no enemy within 6 inches, just a defeat. In the center, something happened. The Bosalton Brigade launch an all-out assault. The Shaken unit here charged the Islanders and routed them. This unit here charged the 69th and routed them. Returning strike made them shaken, but this unit here have to take 2 fortitude tests. And I roll for you because I forgot to roll them. I roll just for the village. So both the fortitude are pass here. And on this side, the square is successfully charged by the Chasseur and Cheval, which routed them, being shaken in return, but they win the melee, so they are routed. And the same for the artillery here. And low fail both the fortitude, so these are shaken, also shaken. And that's it for the last turn of the French. At the moment they got the woods. I have to roll for the last unit in the Bosalton Brigade that I completely forgot to roll if they manage to rally. They have enemy within 12 inches. I'm not sure. There are, but they are when they have to take the activation. So on a 6 they will rally. Yes, they take out 1 of their casualty, and this put an end to the French last turn. We'll see what they manage to do. At the moment they are the Grognard elected on a hilltop to contest the objective there a little bit, 3 inches essentially, but they roll down the hill and want to ruin the miniatures, so they are 3 inches from the guard in any case. And that's it. Now moving into the British last turn. Last turn for the Brits start with a king as a perfect volley for who want to shoot. I will see the shooting now are very reduced because the British line has depleted. So back in a sec for the last fire phase of the Brits. Let's see the quick shooting phase for the British. They put 1 casualty, but they pass their Valor on the hill. This line here shoot into the column and rout them. They fail 3 morale tests on a 3 hit. They are taken. The gun tried to put some casualty into the house here, but they fail to hit anything. And I have to remove the battalion here because it is into the houses. Every house count as some 3-4 houses for the village, the purpose of necessity for the miniatures. And now into the last British activation phase. So the game is over. The Cerro Pelado is firmly in the hand of the British because the guard charged the Grognard, the Leger, and put them to take a Valor test, and they fail miserably and routed, but other piece pass as Fortitude test, so no defeat to him. On the contrary, Bosalton failed his 3rd Fortitude test on 3 that it takes, so this unit also explode because this guard with a surprise attack charged the shaken unit here and destroy it, and so this also gone. It take 1 wound, but in the end shaken, and luckily they rally next the previous turn, so do not have to take a battle test, and the woods remain in the end of the French, but even the artillery was there, so that is not really a problem. On this side it was also bloody. They charge here, fail to destroy the Grenadier, which pass their test, but win the melee and the shaken, but repel the Oh, the hussars, I'm quite tired now, and they attack the General Flicatier, Polish, and crush them, but they pass. It's Fortitude, so that's it. This is the end of the game. The British cannot reclaim this house nor this one, so it's closed. But there are so many defeats here and there that I really need to these are 2 houses to the French, 3 houses to the French, 1 to the Brits, which probably is a victory for the French. I just realized that I've got the village because I have 3 houses against 1. So back in a sec for the last recap with the victory of the 2 officers. I realized that it's not close, not at all. It was a crushing victory for Maréchal Suchet because the English, the British, accumulate 11 defeats across the battle, plus concede 5 here and 2 down their point. So the great total is 18 versus 6 for 3 defeats inflicted all to the Bosalton Brigade, and 1 objective of 3 points on the Cerro Pelado. So this large battle into the peninsula see a very strong victory for the French, despite a number of dice that sometimes roll incredibly high for one side and the next one incredibly high for the other side and low. So it's a up and down in on both sides. So everything could happen, but the 3 wave of attack here has granted enough victory, but especially the 3-1 rolled by Wallace and the 1 rolled by Anson put a weight into the game. Not probably change the fact the points, but could change the battle, because when they take defeat, unit start to take casualty and the situation go worse and worse. On the hill, the guard, when arrived, the guard do his job, and on that side the King German Legion stop the cavalry to move elsewhere, but the loss of the wood and the cavalry that's combined to attack force the British to protect themselves and cannot reclaim the woods. The EA worked better in this case. In the last turn I forgot to film the rolling, but was counter-attack. Engage on the center and here, and the same result, relieve on that side. So that's it for this game. It was fun. It was hard to play as a solo game because it started to be hot up there, and I'm very tired now at the moment. So with this result, I say thank you for watching and hope to see you as soon as possible. Have a nice day and happy wargaming. Bye bye.